What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wheels Fall Off podcast. I'm your host, Candace, also known as Spice from SpiceLifeTv, and this is my beautiful husband and co-host, Creed.
How you doing, baby?
Okay.
What up, world? I'm Creed, and this is the podcast where we discuss relationships and reintegration, particularly as it pertains to incarcerated individuals and their families.
And why is that, babe?
Because I did 23 and a half years for a crime I didn't commit, and this woman rode with me the whole damn time. And during that time, we fought for love, we fought for our right to reintegrate successfully into this lifetime, and we did.
That's right, and we are going to continue to do that until the wheels fall off, and we want y'all to come with us.
Damn straight.
So let's go.
Let's roll.
All right, so let's get into this episode.
Let's do it.
We're actually going to introduce you guys to a new segment that we're really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
If you followed me from back in the day, you know SpiceLifeTv, Spice Rack, where y'all at? All of that. Y'all remember that I used to do a Support Assist Live, and that was where I would find Black businesses that I really liked and enjoyed, and I would bring them on a live show, and we would review their product, talk about their product, and they would tell us all about their business and them and all that stuff. And I enjoyed that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love supporting Black anything. You know, I root for all things Black. And so I wanted to bring that into this world with both me and Babe. Of course, it won't just be all women things. It'll be men and women.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is a product that is a Black-owned, Black-made product, we want to support that and shout it out. So
100%. Let's do it.
It is our honor. Today we have our first segment called For Us By Us, and our first guest on this week or on this segment is our very new friends to the show, but it is a company called Easy Drip. Check it out, y'all.
You see us?
Easy Drip. Look at that drip.
You see us styling?
Okay, so these are our new friends with Easy Drip. And this is a special collaboration because Easy Drip is the founder. He is a currently incarcerated individual who is working on getting out, but also wanting to make a difference while he's in.
For sure.
So let me read this. Easy Drip. What is Easy Drip? Besides advocating, get a grip on your drip. We are the voice of the voiceless, telling the world's story with our creative voices, communicated through apparel, like adolescents who suffer from adult depression in search of a superhero, or individuals that are afraid to be identified by how they feel on the inside. So mentally and emotionally, they hide. Our clothing brand represents courage and self-pride. Supporting all lives is our belief, and our frown face star is a reminder that we are all stars no matter how much life causes us grief.
Damn right.
Get a grip on your drip.
Damn right.
That's what's up. So I reached out because I've been looking for different organizations that I wanted to sponsor, and this one popped up, and I reached out to his wife, who is running his business behind the scenes, which go girl. Her name is Jazz Marie, and her husband is Luca Dupree. And so she is helping him run his business from behind bars. And she says, my husband is an ultimate example, a person about prison community reform. His objective is to show people that your past mistakes can't define you. He wants to show the world that you can come home and not jump right into the street, but you can jump right into a meeting. And what better way in doing so besides having his eldest son right by his side? And he's starting his family business, and they're building their legacy together.
First of all, let's pause for a second. Can we give Jazz Marie and Luca Dupree a hand for repurposing their pain and doing something about it, doing something positive about it? That's what's up, y'all.
We like that.
That's
what
what's
we
up.
do.
Y'all
we like
deserve
that.
a clap for that.
Good job, y'all. We are so excited. Okay, so we wanted to support, of course. So we went and spent our coin, y'all. We ain't asking to send nothing for free because if we support, we support.
No, we ain't doing that.
But I got me a nice hoodie. Look at this hoodie. And it's in the purple. You know I love the purple. And the royalty just screams. But it's very soft, good quality. I love, where we go. I love the logo here. I love how it is. Because at first I thought it was saying like knee. I thought it was knee backwards, but then you see the easy. I just think it's so creative and cute.
It really is.
And
I was looking at it today too. I was looking at the logo. I was like, okay, I see what you did there.
Easy. Yep,
easy,
I love
and
it.
then the
Easy
drip right here.
I love it. It's very cute.
And me, I'm very particular about my sweatshirts, the quality wise and whatnot. I put this on. It feels good.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
It's long enough. The sleeves come down to your wrists.
Yeah, it does me justice. I really appreciate it.
I like. They're doing a good job. I'm so impressed and proud of you guys.
Congratulations, bro. I know how hard that is from behind bars, whether you have help or not. And, you know what I'm saying, kudos to you for having help. Jazz Marie, you doing your thing,
holding
girl.
Your thing down. But just the idea and the fact that y'all, whoever came up with the idea, y'all decided to just figure it out and make it happen. And now y'all got you a family business going.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's dope. And we are here to support. So anytime you drop in a new line, which actually I just saw, I believe you have your fall stuff coming out. I believe that just dropped either today or yesterday. But I saw that tag and I appreciate that. And we will continue to support and tag y'all in everything we can do. But congratulations to both of you and the best of luck to you guys as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you guys know we like us some snacks.
Oh, boy.
We love us a little snacky poo.
Now, my problem is I didn't have this open before we started.
That's okay. You have one job, sir.
I know.
One job.
Well, I put lotion on my hands today.
You
so
did?
I did.
Can we give a round of applause for some moisturized hands
I ain't giving
in
y'all
the
a round of
building?
applause because y'all just going to be looking at my hands while I'm clapping.
Okay, so we got our little snack box for the week or for the month. And let's see where we're going today. Ooh,
boy.
Baby. We going to the Caribbean. Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
I was about to say that. I was about to say, which one do you say?
I say Caribbean.
Caribbean I think I say Caribbean.
Caribbean Queen.
Yeah, well.
Caribbean
Billy
Queen.
Ocean for you youngsters out
Caribbean
there.
Queen. The Caribbean is where we're going.
Let's get there. And this bag right here just reminds me of
Cheetos.
Yeah, so I was instantly intrigued.
Okay, so let's see what they're talking about this week. So we're going to the Caribbean. We're going to get us some, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe, 5 or 6 snacks. Oh, no, 7, 8. We got quite a few snacks in here today. Some chicken chips, some Ovaltine crackers, spice bum, cherry berries. There's all kind of goodies in this box. So let's get into it.
I like this Olay.
Babe, what are you trying to try first? Look at all this.
That Olay, it said extreme ranch on it. I want to see if it's got extreme
ranch chips. So I'm guessing, is this like a Cool Ranch knockoff?
That's what I'm thinking. You need help with that bag?
I got it.
I'm just saying.
Babe thinks when he's around, I can't do nothing. I'm just so helpless. Okay, there's a light flavor smell. Cheers.
Chips. Okay.
It's
not bad.
It's a Dorito with a lot less spice seasoning on it.
Yeah.
Lightly seasoned Dorito.
Yeah.
Cool Ranch.
Not so much less that I don't want another one though.
Yeah, and I normally don't like a lot of seasoning on my chip. But I could go for a little more, actually.
That's not bad, though.
No, actually, okay. That one was better. This one I had was better. Okay,
That's not bad.
Okay, but don't they give you slightly stale?
No, they do. I ain't want to.
But I don't know if it's stale or if that's just the way.
Their style, yeah. I want a little more fresh tasting. I want that pop with the,
Yeah.
But they are good, though.
I mean, definitely could get them. Those could get taken down easily.
They finna get taken down during this episode.
Let's try something sweet. Ooh. Okay, this is called a chocolate digestive. What is that supposed to do? Does that help you go to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Is it like a probiotic? A chocolate digestive. Ooh. Lord.
Oh my God, woman.
Okay. Premium chocolate digestive. It doesn't say really.
We're going to find out.
Oh, a chocolate flavored coat wheat biscuit.
Okay.
Chocolate cookie. Oh, it's just one.
This looks like something I've had before. I can't think of it.
It tastes like Keebler. It tastes like those Keebler stripe cookies.
Okay. That's actually good. I don't know if I'm getting aftertaste from that though also. But it's not too much chocolate. It's got a good cookie in it. It's got a nice little crunch. Yeah.
We didn't even say that this is the munchie segment. The munchies. Got the munchies? I don't even think we said that. Got the munchies. I don't know. But y'all, we started this because Baby ain't got his passport yet. And so we traveling the world through the snacks until we can go travel in the world for real.
For sure.
But we getting there, babe. We close, right?
We get there.
We getting close. All right, next one. Ooh, if it ain't cheesy. These are like clearly some
cheesy volts.
Yeah, Cheeto replicas.
Okay.
I mean, they have all of the. It looks like a Cheeto bag. Different brand name though. Do they smell like Cheeto? They don't look like Cheeto.
Supposed to be paws.
They have, so I don't know if you can see, but they're a little more orangey. Like their orange is a little orangier.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
No.
That ain't it.
That tastes, there's a little spice in the back of that.
Oh.
On the back end.
There is a little kick.
I do like the kick, but I don't know. It gives me a processed taste.
Very processed. Well, I mean, it is going to be processed, but I know what you mean.
But the super processed taste, that's
it
what I mean.
It kind of tastes like, you know how you get knockoff stuff, and sometimes the knockoff tastes just like the name brand, but then other times the knockoff tastes like a knockoff? That's what that tastes like.
That tastes like a knockoff of the knockoff.
Okay, let's see.
I was hoping you picked that one.
We'll do this. This is the Charles Chocolates Tiki Gold Hazelnut.
Okay.
Let's see here. Oh, it's
wafer.
got wafer in there.
Mm-hmm.
We like wafer.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I like the.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You don't have too much hazelnut because I don't really care for hazelnut that much as most people do. But yeah,
it's good. It tastes good. I would finish that. Thanks for joining.
Hey world, check this out. At some point in this podcast, I want you to pay attention to the beginning, and then towards later on in the show where she don't have no headphones on. She wasn't properly invested in y'all today.
Oh wow!
No, I like that though. That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. It kind of has that taste of like the Kit Kat chocolate over the top, but not like a Kit Kat. It's interesting. Okay, so this is a like coconut and pineapple. Did you? I just sneezed.
I looked up and he was looking back like I offended him.
He said, "Excuse me."
Oh my god,
that was so funny. Anyway,
the timing of shit sometimes.
You look like, excuse me. Anyway, this is a coconut and pineapple, some kind of like snack. It says.
You already know I'm not gonna like that, but I'm gonna try it.
You're gonna try it? I didn't even think you would try it.
I'll try it.
If I can get it open.
See, when you do that,
It is literally. It is literally just pressed coconut that is flavored with pineapple. It's only coconut here. I, on the other hand, like coconut. But if you don't like coconut,
I can't stand coconut.
If you don't like coconut, then here we are.
Why do I feel like I'm getting allergies?
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. My eyes are watering.
That's where that sneeze came from. Like, it's been coming for like 2 minutes. But anyway. Not the pressed coconut. So this would be probably the same coconut and guava as that one.
Let's just try it.
Yeah.
Because I like coconut. I don't mind coconut. But I don't necessarily need flavored coconut.
I'm going to let you have that. That one's pretty gross.
Actually, I like when this one better. You can't really taste the coconut because just a little spice. The guava takes over. No?
No, I got a big coconut piece.
Oh, you must have got.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cool. I can say for sure, I don't care for that, but.
Do you like bananas?
I like banana chips. Banana chips is bomb.
Yeah, a banana chip, even though, because I don't really like fresh bananas. I'm not a big banana fan, but I do like banana flavor, and banana chips I can do. And they're thin and crispy. I like them like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not what you're expecting. They're plantain.
I think it's probably a mix.
Oh, is there some sweet?
No, it's, well.
These are definitely plantains. They are not banana.
Yeah, it don't taste nothing like a banana.
No.
At all. Like, this is something you could just eat for the crunch all day. Because it doesn't really have that much of a taste.
See, that's crazy. They got plantains on the front. They got the plantain in the front right here. Ooh, wait, no.
Let me try it.
I can't do it. Right there. And then this, and then it says banana chips. It ain't no banana.
Maybe do they call them bananas over there?
I don't think so. Okay, this is our last one. Ooh, no, I love a ginger snap. These are called ginger biscuits.
Never liked ginger snap.
What?
Never liked ginger snap.
Oh my God, I love me a ginger snap. Oh, they're cookie. Oh, no, they're just. I thought they were filled.
All right, let's go. See that?
It's a ginger biscuit, so it's not as gingery as a ginger snap.
Yeah, but
I would like it more
taste.
gingery.
It's giving me that taste, though.
Well, I'm glad to know you don't like ginger snaps because I'm gonna buy me a box and I'm not gonna share.
They're gonna be all you.
These I could have a little more ginger, but they're good. With a nice cup of tea?
Sound like you from the UK.
First of all, we need to culturify your tongue. Your tongue needs some culture.
This morning. What you talking about? Huh? Alrighty.
Okay, what culture did you go to?
Huh?
What culture did you go to?
Africa. Well, it's not a country, it's a continent, but I showed when I was traveling.
Put the snacks in here.
I traveled to South Africa. I'm just saying.
Anyway, thanks for
Put it back in the box.
Thanks for going with us to our Caribbean trip.
For real.
We back now in the States.
It's
quite ghetto here. Okay, get yourself together because we got a show to do. All right, so let's get this episode started. And today's topic is about the programming. We were asked, what kind of programming is there in prison? And it's more than just like a Ice Girls question because there's so much. So we thought we'd go ahead and just kind of dedicate an episode to that. And we'll just talk about how Babe did his programming, what that included, and kind of where I fit in the mix on that.
Yeah. So initially with programming in prison, and that is a lot of times the basis on which a lot of incarcerated individuals base where they want to be transferred to, because they hear about what type of institution offers what programs, right? Excuse me. So on the surface, you know, you're going to have your normal GED classes and whatnot, which is for people, if you come to prison and you do not have a high school diploma or a GED, at least here, it's mandatory that you take that. So let's start there.
So you have to do a GED if you want to get into any programming. You start with the GED.
You have to start with the GED.
Okay.
You know, and also they also have it to where, and I don't know if this is still the case since I've been out, but if you didn't have your GED, it was mandatory you did that. So before you get a job, you can get both. But they wanted you to have your GED, so you go get that class before you get a job.
Really?
And yeah, you have to be signed up for that. And so there was no like you being out on the yard all day just kicking it and all that. You was in class.
Good.
That was mandatory. Like I said, the reason why I don't know if it's still like that since I've been gone, because a lot of things have changed since I left as far as COVID. When COVID hit, nothing went back the same. So I don't know if that's still the case. So I don't want people to think I'm not accurate. But so you have that, and then you have other programs in there that help individuals. So you have some institutions, that's why I was saying people base their transfers on this. They may have a contract with a certain college program. And so what happens is you have these college programs that have classes left over that weren't paid for out on the street. So let's just say, as an example, University of Washington may have a bunch of psychology classes that not a lot of students took and whatnot, and they have professors that will offer these programs. So what they will have is something called University Behind Bars. That's at Monroe. And guys can come up here and take these classes, these actual accredited courses from colleges that have given them the fundamentals and given them the structure to be able to take these courses and whatnot. So back when I was doing it, they didn't have instructors coming in. They had like people who used to be instructors who were retired that would come in and teach the class and all that 2-3 days a week. And guys were getting psychology degrees and whatnot and stuff that was offered at, like I said, at prisons that they didn't have anymore. So you had guys in there getting real street level education in prison. But again, it was very few that actually wanted it. We talk a lot about reentry as it pertains to, we talk about education as it pertains to reentry a lot. And I always say that reentry and what's the word I'm looking for?
Reintegration?
No.
Recidivism?
When you go to prison and they saying
reacclimate? Is it start with the R?
I think so. Damn it, what's wrong with me?
Reentry.
They said you're going to prison to be fixed. What's the word I'm looking for?
Rehabilitated.
Yes,
okay.
Rehabilitated.
Ooh, $500. Give that lady
damn.
some points.
So, how I always say rehabilitation is a choice. Part of as education pertains to reentry, that is also a choice. And not a lot of people took that choice and said, "I'm going to go take these classes."
Why do you think that is?
They're time consuming. Number one. Number two.
But what else do you have to do?
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
That's my point. But that's what I'm saying. That's the mentality. Like, man, I don't want to be there all day, or I don't want to be there for 2-3 hours a night.
But where else are you going to be?
Exactly. That's my point. I'm just saying it's a choice. It's not hard, but some people don't make that choice. Is why we here to tell people that you need to make that choice to do that.
Well, I guess I'm asking that is like, so if you know that there's nothing else to do, and you're saying that that's the reason not to do it, are you just like what? I guess I don't understand that thinking.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys make excuses. See, here's the thing. No, there's nothing to do in the joint, right? But I mean, you want to be on the yard with your boys for 3 hours in the evening after dinner, or you want to go to the gym and lift weights for the rest of the evening, or you want to sit in the house and watch the games that's on TV and whatnot, or sit in the day room and play cards and pinochle and dominoes and all that type of shit. Guys do that. To them, that education gets in the way of stuff like that. And I'm only speaking of the ones that
do that.
But the thing is, it's the vast majority of the population. Because it used to go to the UBB classes and it would be sparse. It would be like spaces. It would be computers, they're open, and guys never want to be taking classes. Yes.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, very surprising. And so the only drawback, the only thing that wasn't good as far as on DOC's part was that if you had a lot of time, they will only offer these to people who had short amount of time because they felt they can get the degree, get out and do something about it. But if you're going to be sitting in prison for 20 years, what do you need a psychology degree for now? So you weren't on the priority list. The thing is, what they didn't understand is that there's guys that's trying to get these degrees because they are trying to make sure that people like the clemency board know that I have something to offer to society if you grant me the honor, let me out. And so you got a guy sitting here with a life sentence or whatever, and he wants to go to the clemency board, but they're not giving him the opportunity to get the education that the clemency board is going to be asking, do you have?
That's also interesting too, that they think that is a good idea, or just the model is that if you have a lot of time, then you should just keep your mind idle and not do anything until you get closer to the end.
Basically.
Because, I mean, that kind of goes against everything you've always said, was like, if you're not if you're not doing it and using it, you lose it.
You do.
So if you're not encouraging them to use their mind or like learn those, just the time management or communication skills or any of that, and then now they've been in there for 20 years, about to get out at 22 years, and then now all of a sudden you want to let them start learning again?
That's very true. And that's another reason that a lot of guys don't take the classes, because they're going to be challenged mentally, and there's not a lot of people that are comfortable with that. And so, yeah, a guy may feel like he might be telling the guy on the yard, like, yeah, I'm smart, I'm sharp as a motherfucker. Like, I do this, I did that. And, you know, when I was out, I was doing this. And then they get in the classroom and it's like they realize how far behind they actually are. And so it was intimidating for a lot of guys to go on these college, you're talking about college level classes. And some of these guys had never thought about going to college in their life.
Right.
So it's very intimidating. And so guys would not sign up for them for that reason also. And so I watched a lot of guys become successful in those type of college courses. The Devin Adamses and the Anthony Wrights, you know, those type of people. They were leading those classes. They were TAing those classes. So they were make sure that they knew the guys had this mental block, and they would try to lead them through it by giving them confidence and saying, hey, you can do it when they come into the class. Because a lot of guys come in there and see that computer, or come in there and see that workbook and be like, no, I don't want to do this. Well, I mean,
so that kind of reminds me of just like you coming home and you seeing the computer, or just seeing different, like the phone and all the electronics, and that was so overwhelming to you. That was a great example of why it should be something that they're using all the time. So it's not so scary, because if you've been away from all of these things and for the last 20 years, really the last 10 years, everything went from touching or typing to now it's touch, and it's a whole new world. So I can't imagine how, well, I can't imagine, because I've seen it, how intimidating that is for you now.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember when I was locked up, I wanted to take a computer class. I was one of the guys that had all the time. They wouldn't let me take it. Then when I got low enough to possibly take the class, when I got to camp, they didn't have the class. So, excuse me. Yes, when I came home, I see a laptop, computer, or phone. I was like, I don't want to have nothing to do with it.
He would avoid it like the plague.
I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Like, I don't care if it was like applying for a job. I wanted a piece of paper to write to put on an application instead of doing it online. Like I wanted what I saw when I was before I got incarcerated.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was very intimidating, and no, I didn't like that. It wasn't a good feeling. So I can only imagine if other people have those type of hang-ups about education, period. I can see what the pushback would be. But here to let you know, for somebody who's out here right now in the midst of it every single day, you need to do it. If you're incarcerated, you need to get as much education, knowledge, experience as they offer, because you know the Department of Corrections doesn't usually offer you very much in terms of helping you. Anything that they offer, you should try to take it.
Yeah.
Like, be hungry about it, because this world is not slowing down. It's changed a lot since I've been home. And to this day, I mean, I've been almost out. I've been out going on 3 years here, and the world still looks different to me every time I step outside the house. So that can help you in your reintegration tremendously. So I implore brothers to do that.
I mean, I will say, just from the people that I've had encounters with that have done a lot of time, and just also from the testimonies I get about my husband and people, their comments about how he has reintegrated and how they're so shocked that he's done so much time, and he comes out and he is articulate and can explain himself, and he's communicative and he knows how to use his words. He's very, he's working on being more emotionally not available, but expressive, but he knows what those things are. And I completely think that it has to do with the programming he did, because of the interactions that you had, the communications you had, the people coming from the outside that you had to really learn how to like work with them and build with them. And that's a skill that you have to practice too, because I will tell you, before the pandemic, I was missed all over the place. Everybody knew me. I was in everything. Pandemic happened and you shut it down, and I stopped using that talking and that communicating. And I'm still trying to find my way back to it. It's a skill that needs to be used in order to get good at it. And the few times that you were able to really take advantage of that, you did. And I definitely think that's made a huge impact on how you are now.
I think so too. And it wasn't just educational classes that did it. It was a lot of programming that came with these institutions, like I said, depending on what institution you were at, that really, it brought about making you look at yourself, making you acknowledge certain things, making you learn how to make amends for certain things that you've done on the streets to people, or things that you've done that have caused effects on people that you don't even know. And so you had stuff like Bridges to Life. You had the Ready for Release programs.
What's that man class? It was something to a man.
Real Men class. It was a Real Men class, and it was more Christian based. And then there was also the one where you went to the church out on the streets. Kairos. Kairos. So let me break those down a little bit, like, it's just not to give you the whole thing, but this is a little summary. Like, Kairos was a program where men came into the prison and they were there for the weekend. They come on Saturday and Sunday. And I think that the biggest attraction for the incarcerated individual was like they come in with real food. Like, they were bringing prime rib. They were serving you
cookies,
breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you just had real homemade cookies made by the wives of these men that were coming in. And so you had that all day. So the incarcerated individuals think, I'm ready to go eat. They know that. They know you're coming for that. But while they're doing that, they're going to really try to feed you. They're going to try to feed your soul. And it was Christian based, like I said, but it wasn't like preaching or anything like that. It was just being around good men that were saying, you know,
I love you, and this is how I show I love you.
Yeah. And you're not you're not all bad. You have redeeming qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the end of the second day, you're like, damn, like they got me. You know they got you. But that was the whole plan. The plan was to open up your eyes first to the food and then open up your heart to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did a tremendous job in that. I went to it, I did it. And I ain't gonna lie, I think I called you after the second one. I was like, man, this is dope, because that was the first time when I was incarcerated that I actually did see I had redeeming qualities.
Aww.
Because before that, I was just me.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was a good dude, but I didn't realize that I had some bad shit in me that I needed to work on. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't present it to me like that. It was just like, you saw examples of good men and you was like, okay, that's what a good man looks like. You know? And there's nobody in the prison system that's doing that on a daily basis. So a guy is walking around, whoever he was when he was convicted, that's who he's trying to be.
Right, because it ain't like the guards are good.
Yeah.
They're not demonstrating good men behavior.
Yeah.
They're just as trash as the people incarcerated.
100%. Very rarely do you hear guys on the yard say, yeah, I'm in for robbery, but I'm not a robber. No, guys say, yeah, I'm in for robbery. I done took shit from everybody. I done did wooty-wop. Yeah, I done shot a bunch of motherfuckers. And that's how they talk. So to have the guy in there that says, yes, I'm in here for murder, but that's not something I do anymore. You know, I'm not living like that no more. You very rarely heard that. And 9 times out of 10, it's because somebody has shown them that you don't have to be what you're here convicted of. So Kairos was one of those.
And so on the flip side, the cool thing with Kairos is they had the opposite side for the loved ones.
Yeah.
So Babe called me. He was all pumped. He gave my information to these people, and I was a little irritated because I'm like, I don't want to be bothered.
I did.
And he gave me the information. It was supposed to be like a weekend where you go spend the night. They feed you and all this stuff. And I'm just thinking like, ugh, because I kind of stayed away from all of the like prison wife things. I was on my own island. And so he convinced me to go. And actually Stephanie went with me, Mo's wife. Do you remember?
Oh, that's right.
She was there and she was like all in. Like that was her thing. And so I just remember going, I had a pretty kind of closed off mind at first, but it was literally when you're just met with genuine love and people just really just are like, we just want to love on you. That's it. We don't want anything else from you. It was nice. Plus, like you said, the food was good. The company was good. The activities were good. It was just a nice little women's getaway. Yeah. And so they shared stuff that the men shared. He had wrote a letter and had the letter sent to me or something. It was like a gift or something that they'd made for us. So it was just a nice thing that we kind of were doing together, but not together.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot because you weren't as sparked as I was at the end of it, but you definitely. Not. But see, with her,
but at the end, I was pumped. The beginning, I was like, "What has he got me into?" All these white folks. I gotta go be with these white folks and some more.
You gotta trust me, girl. You crazy as hell. But here's another thing I forgot to mention. So I told y'all how they feed us and they give us the cookies, the guys that are participating, but for the entire population of the prison, they would send you bags of cookies at night. And these, like I say, were homemade. So it's almost like it was advertising because these guys that eat these cookies and these are not like the packaged cookies. These is like, these real wives butter, have been cooking for weeks and days, and they continue to cook throughout the weekend to make sure they're fresh. And then, they hand out bags of cookies to everybody. And so guys is like, I want to do this next time. If the cookies is like this, then what's the food like? You know? So it was kind of like a little advertisement. Fast forward, it was such a impactful program. DLC ended up coming up with a rule that says nobody can bring food into the institution from the streets anymore. And Kairos knew that wasn't going to draw people just to come for the program. As sad as it may be.
It's so sad. That's sad that they knew. Like, you need the food to draw people in.
They knew, they stopped it, and then Kairos just never came in again. And so my last, I would say, like 7 years incarcerated, they never came in after that.
And what was DOC's reason?
They were trying to say that it could be contaminated because the transferring of it, you know, didn't hurt when you transfer food from your car to our trailer visit. That's it's the same exact thing, but they would have to.
All right, what's the difference from it being contaminated from when they picked it up from the store and brought it to the prison?
There's no viable reason for them doing that. They just did it because they didn't want that program there anymore. And I mean,
that's unfortunate. That makes me sad.
If you're a guy that works there, you're an officer that works there, and you prey on people's downfall and their misery, and you get to see that every single day. Guys was coming out of Kairos happy, and they was not liking that. They was not liking to see guys going like this back to their cell.
Yeah,
back to your cell.
See, but that, like, okay, when we talk about prison and we know that prison is for bad people, I get that. I absolutely understand that from the bottom of my soul. What I don't understand, though, is just because you're a bad person, like, and maybe it's because I haven't had to, unfortunately, have had someone do something to me so heinous that I just can't find any, like, cordialness or just hospitality or just humaneness to them. But when you see someone, especially when you see someone that's done something awful, when there's a spark that shows that there's a side of them that they could do something better, I don't know why that's hated on so. Instead of encouraged and like, yeah, he sucks as a human being, but this is kind of giving me some, maybe he doesn't suck as a human being. Maybe there is something in there we can spark and really bring that out. Like, that to me is where you see the rehabilitation start. And then for them, it was like they really tried to find every reason to stop it.
The mission statement of the system is about rehabilitation. The actual system is about punishment.
Yeah.
So if you're working there and you're saying, I'm supposed to be punishing these guys, or they're supposed to be being punished for whatever they did, and then you see that this is not punishment, it makes them mad. That is exactly why they get mad. And that lets you know that it's not about rehabilitation. That is.
But that's even more crazy to me, that you're saying that being in prison and you getting cookies in prison takes away the punishment of you being in prison.
That is exactly what they feel.
Like, it's prison. I don't get how a cookie takes that punishment away. I get it if you were getting it every day. I get it if it was like all the time and you're just getting everything your grandma made for you. I can understand that. But when it's connected to a purpose for trying to make you better because they come back, I think that's the part like people don't think about as enough, is that they're not in there forever.
Yeah.
They come back.
Yeah, we tell people that all the time.
You don't want them to come back the same way they left.
Anytime I would get into an argument or something with a CO. And then, a lot of times it was usually about stuff like that. Like, you guys not supposed to be having this, not supposed to be having that. And I would always say, like, what do you want it to be like while we're in here? Because that dude right there gonna end up being your neighbor. It's not just we coming back to society, we coming back to community, we coming back to neighborhoods. You're gonna be mowing your grass to see a guy across the street one day that was incarcerated. He probably lives next to a guy that was incarcerated right now and don't even know it. This is what you want coming back, knocking on your door, asking for sugar? This is what you want to do? Because not everybody in here is just going to do this revolving door and keep coming back to prison. A lot of guys are going to get out and be your neighbor, and you need to treat people accordingly. But they couldn't see that logic. Nobody can see past their nose, so they're not thinking ahead like that.
Yeah.
And it's sad. And so moving on from that, you had another one called Bridges to Life, which I particularly like because you had a group of people that came in, and it was started by the one in this area is actually started in Texas, but the one in this area was started by a lady who had very heinous thing done to her daughter. And instead of being miserable and hating the person that did the crime, she decided to do something about it. She decided, like, just like we were just saying, people coming back to the community. She said, we have to go in here and do something with the guys that have this mentality of destroying lives and change them. So she started this program where they would come in, and basically the mission statement for Bridges to Life was, it's not enough to acknowledge your crime, you have to make amends. And so, and that's something that nobody's ever taught. When you're a kid, you're always taught, say you sorry. So everybody can apologize for it. We all know how to apologize for something we did, but we're not taught how to make amends. And so that was one of the big things they were really geared towards. And it was very helpful and impactful because you had to tell your story in that class, which a lot of us is not down to do. Because
so your story meaning like how you got to where you're there.
Yeah. Tell very stuff that was impactful to make you the person that you are. A lot of people don't talk about that stuff on a regular basis. And then you're sitting around a group of people who you don't really know, and you have to tell this story, but the reason behind it was so that they would get to be able to all know you better, and we can get through this program based upon the knowledge that we now have about you. So I know you've been through some stuff, or I know that you've been molested as a child and all that. There's just certain ways I'm going to deal with you going forward to make sure you get this message. And so it was, like I said, it was very impactful because you saw guys in there that I was incarcerated with that never spoke a word. And the first time I heard them speak was in this class, and then they just like break down. It would be dudes that you would never, ever, ever expect because they're dealing with certain traumas, like I say, that nobody ever gives the arena to speak about, number one. Number two, you have these workbooks that are asking you these questions. And what I've been learning is when somebody asks you a question and you have to fill it out, that's probably the very first time you've ever really delved into that question, whatever it's about. Personally, you're writing something down and you're like realizing stuff about yourself and how you really actually feel about what may have happened to you in the past to get you to come to prison. And as you're writing, you're just like, damn. Now you have to take this, and when you go to the Bridges to Life class, you have to answer these questions in front of people. So that's the second time you're talking about it. So now what the program has done is it's giving you 2 opportunities to talk about this and acknowledge what's happened to you, why you are the way you are, what do you want to do about it. Now the thought process starts in your head. Maybe next time you call your mom, you talk to her about this. Like, Mom, do you remember when this happened to me? You know, I didn't even realize that's probably why I don't like anybody. That's probably why I've been out here at terror and been managed out here on the streets. Stuff like that. It happened a lot.
I feel like that program definitely was one where I saw the most change in you too. Like,
really?
Yeah, definitely. Especially as far as like talking about your stories and like what was going on with you or how it led to you, the things that led to you being who you are, especially like, it's kind of like it was a lot of shadow work. Like you were going back to find out what happened in your childhood, what encounters you had that kind of sparked the seed, that planted the seed or sparked the fire. And you shared a lot of that with me, which some of those stories you never told me before. But then it was like, damn, well, how else were you supposed to turn out with stuff like that?
I mean, I distinctly just now when you were talking, I remember the one thing I think that was during Bridges Life I told you, and I'm not gonna go into it now. I've let it go. It's in the past. But you remember I told you when I was a little kid and I had a sore throat?
Yes,
and like story. That right there, I had never talked about that since I can't remember. So it comes up, and now I talk to you about it, the person I love the most, and then I'm talking to these other people who are obviously trying to help me. So I now have 2. That's what I was saying. You had 2 opportunities to talk about it, and I had went through my whole life and never spoke about it to anybody except my siblings.
So yeah, I just think that it seemed like a really cool class for you. It seemed like it kind of helps you expand your thinking and just start thinking of a lot of things that you've done that maybe we know you didn't do what you did to be in prison, but we know a lot of things that you did that could have landed you in prison. And you were able to really like dissect that and kind of atone for some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And also being in that class, it helped me because I ended up becoming a facilitator for that class. And the reason why they asked me to be a facilitator is because even though there was some good cats in that class that was with me, there was still a lot of cats in there that had the prison culture and lived by the prison culture. So when you hear a guy telling a story that he can't stop doing certain things to like kids or whatnot and stuff like that, these guys are making him feel bad. These guys are disrespecting him while he's telling his story. These guys are disrespecting him afterwards. And I was like instrumental in being like, this is not what we're doing, bro. It's not what we're here for. And so that's why they came and got me and was like, will you help us in the future classes? But it was really hard for people to hear those stories and just be like going about your business and be like, oh, brother, it's gonna be okay. I get it. I totally get it 100%, but everybody needs help because you have no idea that there might be somebody who's sitting across from you who's diametrically opposed to you robbing people, or diametrically opposed the way you're opposed to people touching kids, to you killing somebody, but you did. So do they treat you like that?
It's like the same thing with Christians. You put degrees on your sin.
Exactly.
You think stealing is less than the person who had the affair or who killed somebody, when it's like they're all sin.
Exactly. So if the person's not doing that to you when you tell your story, it was just, I felt like it was just instrumental for all of us to be able to get what the class offered, to just everybody just show some damn respect. So all right, we're here for 2 hours a night. just show some damn respect for 2 hours, okay? I can't tell you what to do when you go back on in the tier, but just be cool. And so,
well, and I mean, what courage that was for the guys that knew they had stories that were going to garner that response, and them still being willing to share because changing is that important to them. And to do that with knowing the stigma that's attached to that, I mean, to me, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's hard. That's hard to do already, to put a mirror to your face. But when you're putting a mirror to your face in front of 20 other mirrors that are saying, we will murder you for this. This is something we will actually kill you for because we just are that opposed to it. But you're saying, I don't want to be this. I want to be better. This is the monster that's in me. I want it out. And I'm still willing to talk about it.
Yes. And that was in Judy, she's the lady that started the program. I can't for the life of me remember her last name right now. But Judy started the program. Like I said, somebody did something very heinous to her daughter. And the very first class we go to, she tells her story. Because she was in communication with the guy that killed her daughter. He's in prison and he goes up for parole every year. And the time I took the class, she was going down to Texas to ask for him to be released.
Wow. Because
she had forgiven him. But her point was, as heinous as that was, like, I'm looking at him like, you can make a difference out here in this world. Like, and I'm going to go say, you guys can let him out. Therefore, going forward in the class, if this guy did something to kids and he even do it to you, you can be at least respectful. If I can go down there and ask them to let this man out, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was real impactful. I was like, damn, that's dope, because it took a strength. Her story was, I don't know anybody who could have did what she did as far as like surviving and starting a program based off of what she told us. But yeah, Bridges to Life was very, very good. And
you enjoyed that class. I mean, you were the facilitator, but did you tell him about your little girlfriend? With her ashy ankles? Because Rick Rock told me that she was sitting at you, looking at you, eye hustling your whole body.
She was. So, and here's the thing, you guys, when you're involved in programs like that, people have a tendency to start.
The volunteers be coming up on the streets trying to get them a baby daddy.
Yeah, people start taking liking to you, and they starting to get enamored with you. And I think a lot of times, it's a lot of things. Don't get twisted. Like some cast is locked up, get at the volunteers. But I think a lot of times what I saw, people come up there with one idea, and now when they see something else, you've actually blown them away. Yeah. So now it's like, damn,
you blew her away. Is that what you're saying?
I guess I did. Oh, okay. Ask Rick Rock.
Oh, yeah. Because Rick Rock was Rick Rock came to the phone and was like, sis.
Rick Rock.
Guess what happened today in class? Yeah. This old ashy ankle heifer was staring at your man.
Listen, she was staring. She wanted me. She was like, she followed me because I went to see the creek and facilitated there. And she volunteered to come up there from Shelton.
Sure I actually did a video about her when I was doing my Love After Lockup series.
I quit the program because of that.
Yeah, I remember. She was doing a lot.
Yeah, I went to Judy and I told her, I said, I'm cool. I really appreciate the opportunity, but I don't really want to do this anymore. And I didn't want to tell her why, but she ended up asking me, and so I was being honest. I was just like, I just said, just somebody's being a little bit relentless. You know what I'm saying? I've already given her the line that I give them all. Like, thank you, I appreciate it, but my wife holds it down, and no thank you.
What was her response?
She was cool. She was like, oh, okay. She was
But she's cool, but what was she doing after that when it's like...
She never really quit. So like when we come in and it was always the long back rubs, and then she want to sit next to me all the time, and then she was like, get attitude when I'll be telling somebody a story and my wife comes up. See, and then that's when it becomes like, okay, now you tripping.
Yeah, you're tripping.
Now you tripping. So I ended up getting up out of that. But Bridges to Life was something that did a lot towards my change. Here's the thing that I just thought about. So in 2013, I was put in a home for something I didn't do. 6 months, and I was in there for 6 months. And I remember how sometimes I still be thinking how fucked up and unjust that was. It was just fucked up, right? Here's the thing that I didn't even tie together. So because after that investigation, which the investigation basically said, okay, he's good, but we don't want him here because he has too much notoriety here. They ended up sending me to a closed custody institution, even though I was I had minimum points, right?
So they said that he had too much notoriety because he got along very well with a lot of the guards.
Mm-hmm.
And when they would go and speak about him, they would speak highly.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a lot of bad things to say. So you would think that, if someone has good rapport like that would be looked at as a positive thing. And in a lot of cases it was. Mm-hmm. But if you are an inmate who is having every guard be like, oh no, he's hella cool. No, we want him to work with us. And no, it becomes where they think, oh, you've manipulated, you've masterminded something here. Mm-hmm. This is a problem. Instead of him just being a good guy, they think that there's some scheme that he's working on.
They don't even know how many times I didn't kept their ass from working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because I didn't told somebody you ain't stabbing somebody or you ain't doing this. Don't do that.
Hand down.
And so...
you ain't stabbing somebody.
Like, this riot ain't finna happen. Because I used to basically, cats come to me for this, that, and the third, and it ain't going down. Man, push that to the side, go squash that, stall him out, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And they have no idea how many times I've done that, but you want to put me in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now that can happen because I'm not the guy no more out on the main line to be able to tell cats not to do that. Anyway, fast forward, it was unjust. I ended up getting sent to a closed custody institution. That was the mistake. The mistake, they sent me to a closed custody institution, and that is where I picked up my whole reentry bug. And I didn't even remember that's exactly where it started.
That is actually where it started.
That's where it started because I took the Ready for Release class to become a facilitator. And I became a facilitator for that class. And then it was just like, bae. And I called you. I said, bae, it's something when you're talking to a cat and you see the light go on, you're like, they realize something. It's like, damn.
I'm about to toot my own horn here because years ago when Babe was still locked up, and I'm sure this is why, but years ago, I mean, honestly, I don't know if you remember this, when you first went to county, do you remember how you helped that guy Gary get his GED?
Yeah.
And his mom was so grateful and thankful. And even till when I saw her last, she was just like, I am so grateful for him. You've been tutoring and mentoring from the beginning. That's just always been your shtick, whether you wanted it to be or not. And actually, you never wanted it to be. It just kind of always fell in your lap.
Yeah.
But I saw that from you early on. And do you remember me saying like, babe, we got to figure out how to, like, we got to make all of this time. We got to get paid doing something from this. We got to figure out how to turn this around. And you should do like motivational speaking, or you should start working on, with these guys trying to get out. And you were like, hell no.
I wasn't ready for all that yet. Shit. I bet you they don't know where that's from. I bet you don't know where that's from. I bet you most of y'all don't know where that's from.
If
you
y'all
do,
know,
send a comment.
Put it in the comments if you know where that's from.
I'm gonna do that to you every time you try to toot your own motherfucking horn. I'm gonna do that shit to you. Break that shit down. I'll stop this shit right now. Shit.
Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying.
No, but you was telling me that we should get paid for it, do some motivational speaking.
Yeah, and Babe was not having it. He did not want no parts of it. He was like, I don't want to do this when I get out of here. I'm done with this. That already took too much for me. And then now to see you be so into the reentry thing and that be like, no, I would do this full time all day, every day. That cracks me up.
I couldn't separate it back then.
Yeah,
it was all one entity for me. So then I had to start realizing that no, you can be very instrumental in being a preventer of a lot of this stuff that's going on in these communities and whatnot. And then another thing is me having to acknowledge that any community that I was ever in, I was always a community pirate. You know what I'm saying? A pirate, like a pirate comes in and takes what he wants. But he just takes. He kills everything and then moves on. And I'm just saying, like, I didn't so dope and got into beefs and stuff like that in communities, and it's just not cool. It just wasn't cool, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to positively affect whatever community I was in, and so then I had to start with the community I was currently at, was in prison. Yeah. Start with that, make it better. Then you can try to come out here and make the block better, So that's when I started to separate the two. But yeah, you're right. You did call that back then. You're really good at it. I mean, even now, I just think you're really good at it. What I think that makes you so good at it, and I don't know if this is like an arrogant thing to say or not, but I think that you have this like really cool way of just being so confident in your skin that if you think it's cool
you just operate in that. Like, I think it's cool, so I'm going to just move like it's cool. And what you end up doing is like making these things that maybe other people think is like weird or soft or I don't know, whatever their holdup is. When there's like a cool guy that says it's cool to do, people, it's like a positive peer pressure thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what your effect has a lot. I don't want it to sound like I'm like pumping you to the point where I'm like, oh, he's so cool. He's that guy everybody's trying to be. It's not like that. It's just that I think you have just confidence and you're so strong in just who you are that it makes people be like, whether they agree with what you're doing or not, it's just like, I like the way he stands in that.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're not riding the fence. You're not like playing, you're just not playing both sides. You say, I'm about to be a good dude. I'm gonna work hard at being a good dude. I might not do it perfectly, but I'm gonna also tell you how it wasn't perfect. And then I'm gonna tell you how I got back up and try to do it again. Like I'm gonna get back on this good guy thing. And now you're just making good guy be cool.
Well, thank you, baby. I think appreciate it.
I think
that
that's
was a dope compliment. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that. But I mean,
you're welcome.
It's just, yeah. I mean, I can't even add anything to that. Honestly, it was just purposeful for me, and it just tugged at me. Because I remember when I really started to see it, because I was able to negatively and positively affect thugs all day. Right. And then, you know how you used to ask me all the time, like some little white boy come up to me in his room, you'd be like
always
you talk to him?
Random.
Like, who is he? So some little nerdy little white dude would come to me and introduce his mom. Yeah, that's why he introduced his mom to me because he likes me.
Visit. We always have these random, like the tiniest, little, most dorky little white boys would come over and be like, hey, Munch, I want to introduce you to my mom. And I'm just like, how does this guy even know you? From what?
So many times.
And now he's introducing you to your
mom.
mom.
So many times they was about to be a victim.
And they're like, Mom, he's the nicest guy. He was so good to me. He was really this and this. I'm just like, how did you even run into this guy?
So many times that he was about to be a victim. Like it's like fresh fish on the line type shit. And I ain't just talking about no sexual victim. I'm talking about cats gonna start getting that same mom to start sending money orders to them. Or I'm gonna hurt your son. And it's just like, nah, man, that's my little partner. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
So then what ends up happening is a lot of times I be on the yard and then I see some of my partners talking to the same white boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay.
You made the white boy cool.
I made him cool, you know, and it wasn't my mission, but it just ended up happening like that a lot of times. But just wanting to make a difference. And that's what I mean about positively affecting the community I was in. I mean, so many times like the yard was separated and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And I'm not saying it's all because of me, but at the same time, I do remember the impact I had, you know, and sometimes just like the incident I told you about with me and Capone having to go over to the wood pile and sit over. The wood pile is a spot that only the Pecker Woods, they call themselves Pecker Woods, the white boys. They only can sit over there. And so I was just like, no, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? So me and my homeboy from Capone, from Original Front Hood, I'm just gonna give it up. It's my guy. We went over there and sat on it and said, anybody move us. And all the little black youngsters came over and they just came and sat with us. And then the white boys was all the way on the other side, like looking at us like, the fuck are they doing? But they was scared to death because
they didn't know
to approach us. they just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are we in the Twilight Zone? Because this had been the woodpile for 30 years.
And no blacks could be on it.
No other race could be on it. So you had these big cement bleachers that only the whites had on one side of the baseball diamond. And then you had another cement bleachers over here, but the blacks and Mexicans shared them. And it was cut in half. Like the Mexicans sat on half of it. And it was like, why are we all fucking piled up over here? And they over there, it's not even that many of them. And they're just all spread out. They lean back and everything. We all bunched up on these fucking bleachers. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit no more. And so, when me and Capone sat down on the bleachers, we watched one of them because they were standing over there watching us for a whole hour. So when they called the gate, you can go in and out the gate. One of them went in and got what they call a sergeant at arms, and he came out and he was basically like, he was the only one that approached us. So he walked over there and then they all started coming over there. And he was like, Big Munchie, man, what's going on? And I told him exactly what I'm telling y'all. I said, I'll tell you what's going on. I said, this right here ain't happening no more, bro. Not as long as I'm here. Like, the fact of the matter is, y'all got people scared to even walk in front of this damn thing. And I said, I don't know what type of scary blacks y'all used to, but I ain't one of them. You know, and so I'm not saying that to sound tough. What I'm saying is,
do though. It do.
You crazy? I'm not saying that to sound tough. I'm saying that to say that it's unacceptable for me to be around blacks that's not confident and don't know their strength and think that they have something to be afraid of when you don't. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's the only thing I was saying then. So I wanted to make a difference because nobody else was going to. And Capone came with me. He didn't have to, but I would have did it by myself. And then, you know, basically, long story short, they was like, the pile is open. And I said, okay, but we're not calling it the pile. We're not calling it the wood pile. It's just fucking bleachers, bro. And this is a dude that I've been knowing for like, at this time, like 15 years. We've been locked up together. So there was this mutual respect there.
Is it still open now?
I don't know. I haven't talked to nobody in Monroe in years. I have no idea.
Well, Monroe's closed now, actually. So it's not.
The whole thing?
Monroe? Yeah.
The inside? Is it?
Everybody's gone. Paul's gone. Everybody's gone.
Yeah, that's right.
I think there's like 2 people left over there.
That's right. You're right. Because we just talked to Paul about that.
Yeah.
That's right. Paul.
So, yeah, Monroe's closed. I wonder if it stayed, though. How long?
Yeah, that's
if it
interesting.
lasted.
Since 2013 when I left, I haven't had no contact with nobody there, so I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, but incidents like, but let's get back to the point is that just to be positive in anything I did in my walk, it had to, the street stuff had to translate to this legitimate stuff. It had to translate to the reentry part. I couldn't bully reentry. I couldn't do reentry like I did the streets. I could have snatched them up like, you gonna go in and take this class. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to lead by example. I had to be real. I couldn't be straddling the fence. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, that was hard because that was a struggle for myself. But once I did, I started to see the positive effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you did Bridges to Life, building...
Bridges to Life, release readiness.
Yeah. I'm about to say building
Kairos. And then it sounds the same, but then it's Ready for Release. Ready for Release was Augustine and them.
Yeah.
So Ready for Release was a program that I took, and it
really sparked him.
Yeah, that was a program that was started by, at the time, was the vice president of the Urban League in Seattle, Augustine Sita. And so he brought some guys in that I knew had been incarcerated before. Franklin Smith, Tang. I'm trying to think of Tang's new name.
Edward.
Eddie something.
Eddie Long. No, that's not it.
You just pull the name out.
Well, there is an Eddie Long.
No, he's changed his name. That's why I can't remember.
Purpose. Eddie Purpose.
Eddie Purpose, yeah, excuse me. My guy Eddie Purpose, he came in, and this is my guy. This is my little homie, right? When he was locked up, and when he came in with those guys, they got a contract with DOC to do a 2-day workshop, and they came in, and he came and sat right next to me, and he brought his little lunch in. He made slide his sandwich over and all that. Like, that was my little homie. At the end of the 2 days, I said, I'll never want you to call me a big homie no more. I said, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. You my big homie now. You know what I'm saying? Because he was really out there doing it. And to this day, he's very, very successful. He's been sticking with it. He's been helping brothers left and right. He is not giving up on a community. That is my guy. But getting back to it, they brought this program in, and it was Ready for Release. And what they did was not only talk about reentry, but they gave brothers tools about dealing with conflict, how to discover your purpose, how to budget when you get out, doing mock interviews inside the institution, to where you had to sit across and get asked questions and be able to do a real live interview, which most guys incarcerated never done in their life. And to see guys that I had been incarcerated with, guys had been incarcerated in the past. This program was started at Monroe by an inmate. Augustine City was a former inmate that used to sit in the room by himself and just came up with a whole curriculum. That curriculum ended up getting sold to DOC, and that's how he ended up coming in. So he makes some money off of that. So that's what I'm saying, brothers. Like, you can start this shit in the joint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like my guy did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can really start this shit in the joint and get the ball rolling so you can hit the ground running when you get out here. But I took that course, and then became a facilitator for a number of years until I got out. And I still have a couple of those connections today. So, I mean, I'm saying all that to say that the programs that are offered in there can be vital and instrumental in your reintegration. And I highly, highly recommend people participate in them and give your all when you do, you know, because this shit ain't no hustle. It's not a hustle. And a lot of people treat it like that, you know what I'm saying? And that's not to cast aspersions on anybody, but it's not a hustle, man. It's a real deal thing, and it can save some lives. And there's also damage lives if you're involved with people and you're not serious about it, you know?
Right.
Because they're not gonna take it seriously, number one. Then number two, you lead them down the wrong path. And I'm done with that. I've seen enough of that.
So why don't you tell the people, like, let's go down and list all your certificates, because even we skipped off the educational part, but you've done some actual programs where you did building maintenance, you learned how to build some tiny houses, you learned how to weld, you've learned how to HVAC, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. So what are your certificates that you got? You got an associate's too, right?
The associates it's my trade associate's degree. That's the one for welding from Pierce College, the building maintenance. God, girl, you put me on the spot.
Sorry.
So I had building maintenance, and it consisted of getting certified in degrees in plumbing and HVAC and electrical. You had to take tests. You had to do it all. The whole nine. Guys came in from the streets, from the local union, and had you do the test. You had to pass that. 2 years of welding class. I finished in a year and a half and got an associate's degree. And I have a plethora of other certificates that just for classes that I've taken. I'm just trying to remember. They kind of escaping me right now. I wish I'd have brought my folder.
That's okay. But basically, he can build the house from the inside out or the walls out.
Yeah, from the walls in. Like, so I don't put siding on and all that,
right.
But you know, I know how to do a floor. I know how to build a subfloor and make sure I frame it. I know how to do windows, doors. I work for a door company now. That's why I'm saying that. And honestly, it's helped me, because the reason why I took all these classes is because I knew this.
You did horticulture?
I did the horticulture class. I wasn't good at horticulture at all.
That was the only one you weren't good at.
I was not good at that at all. Yeah, a lot of damn classes. I don't know why they're escaping me. But the reason why I did it is because when I was in prison, I knew I wasn't going to go sit behind somebody's desk. I knew I was going to have to get out and work with my hands. So anything that they offered that would help me in that when I got out, I did, which it did. Like, when I got out, that's exactly what I did. I said did a lot just now.
You did.
But I got out and literally worked in a production shop, and then I was installing security doors for a little over a year and whatnot. And those classes, and then doing that, because I've always been kind of a rough dude, but I wasn't like putting it together rough, you know. Now I just
okay.
You know, you see me, tink tink, get mad, throw the hammer. All that. You had to learn that in the classes.
You did not.
Yes, you did. They showed you how to throw the hammer without hitting your foot and without hitting nobody else. Education and its requirement for you to communicate with people is the two things that I'm trying to tell y'all about. If you don't take the education, then there's going to be a lot less communication that you do, and that's not going to be beneficial for you. You got to talk to teachers. You got to talk to other classmates. You're going to have to ask questions about how to do work. Work in a team setting. Yes.
Work with the partner.
Like, those things is going to help you in your home and in your life out here on the streets. I guarantee you. Like, it's so many benefits to it. I can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, anything you can do while you're in there, like, this is the time. Y'all got the time. So use it as productively as you can. And if it's, if they don't have the programs, that's why we're kind of telling you what programs he does have, so that maybe you and your loved ones can look them up and maybe ask and advocate to bring those. Maybe you guys are the ones that can start them and bring them up. We have connections of people that started the programs that we can give to you to talk to and see how they did it and see if they can bring it to where you are. But I mean, programming is the way to rehabilitate while you're in there. And honestly, it's something that you, the inmate, has to seek out, because they're not just coming to you and saying like, okay, class starts on Sunday, come fill these papers out.
Yeah.
Like, you have to advocate for yourself to get in there, and then you have to advocate for yourself to continue and finish. And it's hard. Like Rick Rock, he's been working on his stuff for how long? And depending on if you get moved or transferred while you're working on your degrees, that stuff stops and gets lost, or you don't get to continue anymore. But it's a constant thing that you should be working on, because if your goal is to come out here and be successful, you have to start now. It can't start when you get out here. It has to start before. And even if it's classes you'll never use, just the getting your mind to be thinking and using your mind in that way is very important, because out here it is going to be a way different thing than having which babe is he's admitted or shared that it was really hard figuring out your time management when you don't have just structured time all day. You only can do this, and then you only can do this, and then you only can do this. Whereas out here it's just spaghetti. The noodles are just all in through everything. It's not, there's not blocked off sections. So
100%.
The more you can get your mind to be working and just thinking and using it in different ways, the more successful you can be.
Yeah. Good. Well said, babe. And lastly, what I didn't say at the beginning was, don't let the institution dictate the education that you want. A lot of times the institution won't tell you, but you are allowed to take correspondence courses outside of the institution. And that is also an option. And if you do that, then you can be more focused on what it is you want. You can be working towards your degree instead of having just the class that they offer because this is what the state can afford to offer. So if you do that, and honestly, I wish I would have did that more, honestly, because it's just I think would have helped me a lot in
wouldn't it have been though that I would have had to pay for it?
Yeah.
That was the thing. I think why you didn't is because I would have had to pay for it, and this like paying for college classes. So it could be a little pricey. They might have more options too now.
Yeah.
More resources.
Yeah.
But other things that you can do too, just as a family member of someone who's incarcerated, let's say that, they're not feeling very motivated, because when you get into prison, I don't know how you wouldn't be depressed for the first few years. It's a huge culture shock, and you're just in this place. It's like, what the hell? So if they're not expressing like a lot of interest, but like maybe they're interested in cars or whatever their thing is, with him, they had it where every quarter I could send him in books from the actual, like from Amazon. So at the time he was really into like money management, and he wanted to learn how, Trump was doing all his things. This is before he was president. But I sent him different Trump books. I sent him like Jay-Z books, or just things that would get him inspired and keep him motivated so he could read about other people's lives and what they went through and their triumphs and their successes. So, I mean, if that's an option, if they don't have that, maybe you could advocate for that too. But just finding different ways to try to open up their mind, to just expand them a little bit and just spark the interest, because then once the interest is sparked, they'll be all into what they're doing, and then that'll help you help them better as far as finding things that they can do.
Absolutely. Good. Well said again.
Look at
Well, you were there.
I was.
So
I just did it for a little bit of time.
you do know some shit. But yeah, and definitely I encourage Cass to, even if you're not taking classes, just read. Go to the fucking library and get you a book and read a damn book. Because I'm telling you, you run into a lot of cats out here that don't know, that have never read a book in their damn life. And I'm not even talking about cats that's incarcerated. I'm just saying, that's just to give you a leg up, and it keeps the hamster wheel rolling. One of the things that I educated myself when I was reading is I learned how words are used by reading. Because you see it in the sentence, you see the context of the conversation, and now you know, oh, this word I've been hearing all this time, that's how it's used. Like, that is how because nobody ever fucking taught me anything. I learned a lot of shit from reading. So I tell people that all the time, you don't want to be a dumb fuck out here, and I'm sorry to say. So, get you a damn book. Because I ran to a cat the other day. Okay. I'm not even playing, at my job. And he thought that a right to bear arms meant short sleeves for everybody. I said, listen,
I
bro,
know something crazy
that's not
coming.
What it fucking means. It's so frustrating. Just read a fucking book, y'all, please. Okay? God. What's funny about that? You need to stop laughing at people.
You're so
You need to
annoying.
leave people alone. But seriously, I mean, y'all read while you up in there, man. I don't
Read
care
a
what
book.
it is. Yeah. I don't care if it's a novel, an autobiography. It could be a self-help book. It doesn't always have to be like this real deep thing, but just having some time where you're using your brain and your imagination, where those are the two things that prison doesn't want you to do. Just do it.
Yeah, because it's going to be hard. You're going to be hard pressed to find time to be able to do that out here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think you read no books since you've been home.
I ain't read no books.
It's hard for me to find time to read. I'll listen to them.
And I brought all of my books home. I ain't giving none of my books away to nobody. I brought all my books home.
That's the other thing. Tell the people they can leave the keyboard.
No. Listen.
They can leave the keyboard. They can give the books. Y'all don't need to bring none of that home.
I bought a keyboard with the intent of teaching myself how to play the piano. I can play that one song Will Smith played at the end of the first episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's Beethoven.
My God.
I was gonna play that one day, right? I use my keyboard as a speaker, so my cell was bumping. I put my music on.
Okay. Thank you for that. If you guys watch Love After Lockup, there was an episode where one of the men came out and she was standing there to pick him up and he came out with his keyboard on his back.
The keyboard is so instrumental in your comfort though, because like you got these little flimsy ditzy ass TVs and the speakers on them not good. There's noise right outside your cell, so you can't really hear the keyboard. You can have your little surround sound. Or when the Super Bowl or the football game on, you can put it on through the keyboard. So yeah, cats want to keep their little keyboard. They just got attached to that thing.
You're actually coming home to a real surround sound.
No, you're right, but honestly, there's no excuse for nobody who's been locked up, who just got locked up recently. But I was locked up before all that shit was like popular. So yeah, I didn't know it. But yeah, I sure brought that thing to work release.
He sure did.
I got clowned.
And then they sent it home with me. They were like, could you have your wife come pick up this?
What's her name?
Went straight to the
where did the work release?
Yeah, Miss right? No.
Miss she clowned me about this. She said, what are you doing with this keyboard?
What is her name? That was your buddy.
That was my partner. Miss
Damn.
I forget names, y'all.
Me
I forget
too.
names. She was cool, but I be forgetting names all the time.
That's crazy. You call her something though. You had her in your phone like as like New York or something, like a name, city. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is the most seamless episode, but I'm hoping that what you got out of this episode is we were just trying to give you examples of the few examples that they have available for rehabilitation while you're in there and just programming, education, that kind of thing, and then how Babe used them. And then hopefully it would give you some suggestions or ideas to talk to your partner about. And if they aren't things that they have available, maybe you guys can start working on getting them in there. And we would love to talk to you and maybe connect you with people we know that are doing those programs. So if there's something we can do, hit us up. You can always catch us in the comments here, but for me specifically, just if you want to a little more detail, you can hit me up on my Instagram. It's at the real SpiceLifeTV. You can send me a DM there. I'm on that all the time. And then that's the other way to just kind of catch us up with our more personal everyday lives. I'll put a lot of stuff on there. But then we'll be back every Thursday. Every Thursday we'll drop a new episode, and what we would really appreciate is if you guys could like, subscribe, comment, and share this episode out and any of the other episodes that you see. That you might think someone else could find interesting. Our goal is to really grow this podcast. We want it to be a real legit podcast.
Oh, it will be.
Don't let me get an ad. If I get an ad, if we get an ad,
what you gonna do?
Lose my mind. That's like official. You were an official podcast then.
Nah, 100%.
But we need y'all to do that, and y'all have been so gracious and so helpful. So we hope that you will continue to do that with the love and support that you're giving us. But until the next time, we'll be back.
We will be.
Y'all remember to stay blessed, stay black, and stay beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Read them books.
Pick a book. Read a book.
Education, man.
Till next time, y'all. Bye, guys.
Peace.